So this isn't something that I usually do, but every time we've got to have a different way of being able to introduce our wonderful, amazing speakers. Sometimes it's actually been at the door to the airplane. This time we're still in Ben Gurion because we've been slightly delayed. And just in case I don't get there and am not able to open up my Zoom to welcome Rebbetzin, Chaya, Reena, Zimmerman, and thank her so much. Thank you, Rebbetzin Zimmerman, for being with us. And I just love it. And I'm so sad that I'm missing it, but I'll have to watch the recording. It's Geshmak to be a Yid. And I can tell you, after being here in Eretz Yisrael and being from Kever David, Kever Rachel, the Kotel, and just around all these amazing, fantastic people, this is our Yid. It is Geshmak to be a Yid. Looking forward to hearing and wishing everybody thank you for being with us. And looking forward to seeing you all soon.
Over to you, Rebbetzin Zimmerman.
This makes me good. Hello. Okay. Hi. Well, we have to, when we think of Joanne, we just think of Geshmak to be a Yid. That's I think how we got to this title. Actually, it's a catchy title, and I've been getting comments all day like, okay, what do you think? Are you going to sing the song to them or things like that? One young friend said, actually, just tell them how amazing it is. Look at us. We're coming to Yontif time. I'm a mother of a little girl and a little boy, and I'm going to be getting ready for Yontif and making everything so exciting and so special. It's Geshmak to be a Yid. But and also this is what life is about as a Yid. After Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year where we haven't eaten and we've davened all day and we're practically like malachim. Hashem says a baskal comes out and Matzah Yom Kippur, and we just want to stay there. We want to stay with that connection. And what does the baskal say? Go back to your tents. Go back. Hashem doesn't want us to live like angels. Go back, be human, do all the things that human people do, but do it the way Hashem wants us to do it. And that's the highest level. That's what we're supposed to do. Shuvu la'ohalechem, live on this physical world. And by following Torah with every single thing we're doing, then we elevate it. And that's the Jewish life. That's the Yiddish from ladies' life. You know, when you meet someone and they tell you or they leave a message, wow, I'm so busy. In 2 months, I'm having this Thanksgiving dinner and I'm having 10 people over and I'm busy with menus and shopping. And we just nod and say, yeah, wow. But guess what? What do most of us do every single week? So it's Geshmak to be a Yid. How do we get there? You know, and you can't, and about Geshmak, let's discuss how to get there, to have that feeling that we all have to work on. Some people actually naturally born with it more than others, the sunshine nature, and it's easy and they're practically born smiling and everything's okay. And there's other people that actually have to work on it. So that's something that is between you and Hashem. You can't really fool people. I remember once I was visiting someone in the hospital, a relative of mine, and there was 2 Bikur Cholim ladies that were going around giving out food. And one of them, I knew her, and she could barely crack a smile, and she was taking the visiting very, very seriously with like a very sour look on her face. And I was thinking, that's really not what you should be doing with that personality. But she was trying the best she could. Also, I think we somehow, like when you ask someone, how are you doing? How's everything? They're like, can't complain. Or people start telling you all about their troubles. Why do people think that in order to have something interesting to talk about, it has to be some terrible story or something really bad that happened? Why can't everything just be Baruch Hashem, exactly the way Hashem wants it? And why is smiling at someone you don't know considered socially off? So let's just try to figure out what are we doing? What are we supposed to be doing? What's our mission while we're asking Hashem for another year of life as Yehudim? So let's start from the beginning. In Bereshis Parak Aleph, Pasuk Chaf Vav, Vayomer Elokim Na'ase Adam. Hashem says, let us make man. Who is us? So the Maharal says, Na'ase Adam. Hashem is talking to Adam and to every single human being. Rosh Hashanah was the day that Adam was created. That's the creation. When Adam was created was on Rosh Hashanah. All of creation was carried out by Hashem himself. And the expression for creation of man said, Na'as Adam, let us together. Hashem says, I am creating you with a lot of potential and a lot of ability, but you're not complete. There's work that you have to do me and you together are going to create man. You have to work on your personalities, on your nature. Every single one of us is here to develop ourselves. We are each given our specific challenges and tools for our growth, and we must become more connected to Hashem as we grow through life. Every single one of us is a work in progress. So when you meet someone that you didn't see for 40 years and she says, wow, you haven't changed one bit, not much of a compliment, because we really hope and pray that we've changed. Now, we're all a work in progress. Ramchal points out that with one exception, all living things are created in a state of completion. And as they grow, the only change they undergo is size, right? A baby elephant turns into a big elephant. Some creatures do undergo changes in form, like the caterpillar becomes a butterfly. But these changes are not the result of determination on the part of the creature to change, but it's programmed into its genes, right? And then you could say, what about malachim, angels? They're totally spiritual beings that undergo no change or growth whatsoever, except for man. The definition of man is that he's being na'aseh, he is a being that is created incomplete, and we must work towards his own, all of us have to work towards our perfection. And since that being, that's what Hashem wanted. And it's obvious that man could not have been created complete with a fully developed character, midos, personality, because a being that is complete at birth is either an angel or an animal, not a man. Hashem said to man, Na'asa Adam, let us make man. Hashem said to Adam, you and I together. Hashem gives us all our potential, and you are to develop it to the highest degree that you possibly could. What does Hashem do with Adam? Parak Beis Pasuk Tesvav. Vayikach Hashem Elokim es ha'adam. Vayanichehu began Eden. Hashem settled the human Adam in the Garden of Eden. For what purpose? La'avda u'lashamra. To till and to tend it. Reb Shamshon Raphael Hirsch says, Adam, a man, is charged with a mission to work and to protect. That's what we were created for. We are down here, every single one of us, with our own destiny, with our specific mission. No one else can do it. We have the tools that we need for our personal garden, which is each of us is given the exact kaiches that we need, that our neshama needs to accomplish its mission on this world. And we're given the specific tools, we're given the specific garden, which is everything, where we live, who we live with, what we look like, what our circumstances are. Every single one of us, it's custom made for us to fulfill our mission. And as human beings, we are never standing still. We are either moving up spiritually or going down. And we get very easily distracted, right? A human being is forever, the Vilna Gaon says it based on a pasuk in Mishlei, Ba'orach Chaim Lamalam Lamaskil, a human being, he always has to keep looking upwards, otherwise he's going to slip down. Man is always in a state of flux. He's either going up or going down. We are never standing still. We have to get there. Now we have something called the Yetzer Hara, someone trying to trip us up. We have to work to get there. It says if life feels like you're going down in a bicycle, then you're going downhill. If life feels like you have to pedal really hard, then you're going uphill. In this week's parsha, in Kiseitze, in Parak, it says Kiseitze la Muchama al Eivecha, when you go out to war against your enemies, Unisano Hashem Elokecha biyadcha. Hashem will help you win. He will give the enemy to you to subdue and to win. What type of war? It doesn't only mean the physical war, the battle of life, spiritually, emotionally, behaviorally. One of the Rishonim, Rabbeinu Ephraim, says that this pasuk is referring to the Yetzer Hara that's trying to get us to stumble and to mess up. And the pasuk is saying, when we are aware of our enemy and we go out to battle and we try to overcome our evil inclination, that's the part we have to do. And then Nisano Hashem Elokim b'yadecha. Hashem Elokecha is going to help deliver him into our hands. And specifically in this month of Elul, there's an extra siyata d'shmaya as the year's coming to an end. We want to connect with our Kadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem is waiting there. What we're going to try a little bit, and he's going to help us get there even further. We have to go out and try to do it. We're down here for a set amount of time, and we have our work cut out for us. How do we know what our job is? How do you know what I'm supposed to be doing? well, you have to know. Like a young lady asked me once, she's like, she was going through something and she said, how do I know? She was like a few days before her wedding. How do I know that I'm meant to get married? And I said, well, we don't come down with a little tag on us telling us exactly what we're meant to do. But basically, we look around, where are we? What's going on now? This is my mission now. And we have to look around and see what our tools are, and we have to be honest with ourselves. And of course, if there's ever thing you're really not sure, speak to a friend, ask a shaila, and be willing to hear what someone tells you. If someone thinks they have the major voice and they should be an opera singer and they can't carry a tune, that's a problem. They might have other problems. Rabbi Yerucham Levovitz is quoted as saying that imagine a person lives through his entire life not fixing up what he had. He had a very bad temper. He never ever worked on it. Wouldn't that be a pity if he ends his life without fixing up what he was meant to fix up? But he says, double woe is to the man who went through life not knowing what his strengths and his gifts and his talents are. And everyone is individual. It's what they have inside them. We each have our own individual path and our own individual journey and our own internal inner battles to fight. It might be things that no one knows about. It might be someone worked very hard on something and no one's ever going to know. It's very individual. It's between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's part of being a Yid as there's constant opportunities for growth. Wherever we turn, there's opportunities for growth. Let us make man. And it's only while we're down here. Now, sometimes people feel so overwhelmed. Like, I have so much to do. How am I ever going to do it? How is it possible to turn into a tzaddik? In Pirkei Avos, in the fourth parak in Mishnah Chaf Aleph, it says the famous thing that we all know. Rabbi Akiva says, "This world is compared ha'olam hazeh domer leprasdor. This world is compared to a corridor mipnei olam haba. Just it's like the hallway, the entranceway go into the hall of olam haba. So what should you do? Haskein atzmacha beprasdor. So prepare yourself while you're here before you open the door to go inside to the wedding hall or to the palace. So fix yourself up before you go in. There's a corridor. Why? Like when you go into a wedding hall, you don't just come in and right there's the kala. There's usually another space to walk. There's even a mirror sometimes on the side before you go inside to greet the kala and her family. What's it there for? What's the mirror there for? And to fix your tie, if it's a man, to wipe your shoes, to fix your sheitel, to make sure everything's on right. And that's why a person comes into this world. He's a chelak elokami mal. He's a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sometimes that person gets so overwhelmed. I'm never going to change. I have so much to do. That's not what it's expected of you. He said this world is like the hallway. As you're about to go into the palace or to the party or what are you doing? What could you do there then? You're already all dressed for the wedding. You're already about to come in. All you could do there is fix up a few small things before you're entering the king's palace. So Rashi says this world is compared to the corridor. Haroteli kanes, before you're going into the king, you fix your misakein rosha, you fix your hair, you fix your beard, you make sure your clothing are straight. And Rabbi Yerucham said, people think that being a shalom, being a great person, is such an unbelievable madrega, and they give up before they even start. And no, it's an easy thing to achieve. You're already almost there. You just have to, everyone has to just do a little bit more, a little bit more. It's not about transforming yourself into someone that you're not into who knows what. It's about doing some minor adjustment. And every small action counts while we're here. This also teaches us a lesson that there's a minhag that when someone is visiting a cemetery, a man should tuck his tzitzis in. He shouldn't go walk around the cemetery with his tzitzis sticking out, and it's called loed lerosh. He shouldn't be either making fun of or mocking someone or mocking the poor. What does that mean? The people that are not alive anymore, they can't wear tzitzis anymore, and it will be painful for them. They can't do mitzvos. They can't be part of this. Now look, it doesn't say don't come into the cemetery wearing your fur coat or wearing your jewelry or coming with your fancy car. That's not going to hurt anyone that's not alive anymore because they know what's real. They know what's important. They're in the world of truth, where the truth is clear about what is real and what is just external. When I was in third grade, I was 8.5 years old, probably at the beginning of the year, my third grade teacher told us a story, and she dramatized it, which I'm not going to do. It took her very long, but she described a family that was very, very, very poor, and they had no money, and they didn't have enough money to buy food and clothing. And the father of the family heard that there's an island far, far away that takes a few months to get there by boat. And there's diamonds all over there. And if he goes and he gets the diamonds, he'll come home and he'll have to support his family for the rest of their lives. So even though they were all going to miss him, and even though it was going to be very, very sad, and the mommy was going to be alone with the kids, he took a boat and the family all waved him off and they were smiling and there was going to be months and months and months that he wasn't going to be home, but it was worth it because he's going to come back and everything will be great and everything will be perfect. And then she went on to describe what happened by that island. He comes to the island after months of traveling and he looks around and literally there are diamonds strewn all over the floor. Wherever you walk, there were people living in normal houses. They were eating, they were drinking, but there were diamonds all over. So he came there. He just started picking up diamonds, putting them into his pockets, putting them into his shoes all over. And he looks around. Everyone else is just stepping on the diamonds. No one's bothering to pick it up. What is going on here? And in that island where he was, no one was even paying attention. They had it all over the place. Who the most important person in that island was the person that had the most cheese. Cheese was hard to come by, and the one that had the most cheese and had some cows and milk and made cheese, he was considered the wealthiest. He was the one that everybody respected. So after being there for a little while, he realized this makes most sense. I'm also going to get into the cheese business. And he worked really, really hard, and he got a cow and he made all the cheese, and he had tons and tons and tons of cheese. And he was considered the wealthiest person there, and everyone was respecting him and everyone was coming over to him. And he remembered his family and he couldn't wait to go back and show them how successful he was. And my teacher went on to dramatize it. And then she was saying, and then it was time to go back. And after a year or two of living there, he came back and he hired a boat and he packed all the cheese, and he was the richest person, and he took tons and tons of cases of cheese onto his boat, and they traveled, and he went traveling all the way back to his family. And it took, again, a few weeks to get there. He had sent a letter that he's coming. His family was waiting by the dock, waiting by the water, looking out, could not wait to see him. And then she describes, as he's getting closer, they think they see him, and they start smelling a terrible, terrible, terrible odor. And they couldn't wait for him to come in, but what is going on here? And by the time he came onto the dock, the people on the boat were throwing up. All his cheese had spoiled. It was rotten. It was nothing. And they said, what happened? They needed him to come home. She said, take a shower. They could barely breathe. And what happened? And he realized what a fool he was, but it was too late. He didn't pick up the diamonds. What they valued on that island was the cheese. He brought home the cheese. He had nothing to show for himself. He was depressed. His family was crying. They had all been mice and nefesh for nothing. And he comes home and he goes into his room and he starts getting undressed, takes off his shoes, and his wife hears a little ping, takes off his socks with another little ping, takes off his coat, and she's like, what is this? And she picks up a bunch of little diamonds. And he's like, oh, it's nothing. They have it all over. She goes, what do you mean this is nothing? And she runs to the person who she could sell the jewelry to. And he's like, these are real. Do you know how much they're worth? And she comes home with sacks and sacks of money. And he was rich for the rest of his life, and he was able to support his family. But he was very sad and very depressed because he could have brought home much, much, much more. And the teacher said, and that's what Olam Haza is. And that's what you girls could do. Now, as I'm getting older, many, many, many years later, she was trying to teach us this is the world of opportunities, and there's diamonds strewn all over the place, and we sometimes get distracted. And it's very easy. And all it takes is one little thing, and we are tested all the time, and we could just keep on hopping around diamonds. It says, whoever prepares on Erev Shabbos will have what to eat on Shabbos. That's the Gemara. You prepare in this world, you'll have what to bring to the next world. I saw an article, something that was written by a 70-year-old patient in an intensive care unit. And this is quoting him. First, I was dying to finish high school. Then I was dying to finish college. After that, I was dying to get married. Then I was dying to have children. Then I was dying for the kids to get older so I can marry them off and relax. And then I was dying to retire. And now I'm just dying, and I realized that I never lived. Now that's a lesson. We are Yidden, we have opportunities. We are called from Yehudim, from the name of Yehuda. When Leah said, Hapam Ode Es Hashem, being grateful, being positive, how lucky we are to be a Yid, having a positive attitude about everything, looking for the positivity, focusing on all the good that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for us all the time, right? The famous thing about Yosef HaTzadik, when his brothers sold him down to Mitzrayim, and it was terrible. He was begging them not to, and then he gets sold down, and the pasuk says that it was a caravan with good smelling spices, perfumes that were taking him down to Mitzrayim. There's never an extra word in the Torah. What did it make a difference what these people are selling? He anyway was miserable. He was going down to Mitzrayim, and he was going to be all alone. But Yosef took comfort. He noticed, this is a tzara, this is difficult. but Hashem made it smell good. He's with me. He's with me, and he appreciated the silver lining. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz says on this that Yosef was appreciating the neshika milmala, the kiss from above, the wink from above. And you need, as you're going through things, we have to feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us the entire way. Nothing happens without him. Sometimes we think like, okay, this I could deal with, Hashem. I need you to take care of that. No, there's nothing we could do without HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every single thing is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says, I was learning with someone yesterday, Pirkei Avos, and it says, Azai says, you should run for an easy mitzvah, even if you think that's an easy one, chaparayin, and run away from the Aveira, because mitzvah goreres mitzvah, the Aveira goreres Aveira. One mitzvah will lead you to another mitzvah, and an Aveira will Hashem lead you to more Aveiros. And then it says, because the reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah, and if you start doing Aveiros, it's easier for you to do them, and you'll start slipping down. So Rav Ovadia Bar Tanura says that when one chooses to do a mitzvah, then other opportunities are sent to him to earn more reward. And he also says that's one thing it means. But he says that when one is excited to do a mitzvah, when one is running after a mitzvah, when one wants to do a mitzvah, he has pleasure from doing mitzvahs, then the joy and the pleasure are also considered a mitzvah. It's not just what you did. You get extra reward for being happy while you're doing it, besides the mitzvah itself. And in Archas Tzadikim and Shar HaSimcha, it says also that Kol ha'oseh ha-mitzvahs b'simcha, someone who does the mitzvahs happily, yesh lo schar elef yados yoter mimisha ha-mitzvahs alav lamasa. He gets rewarded 1,000 times more than the person who does the mitzvah as a burden. Like, yeah, I have to do this. But if you're happy to do it, it's 1,000 times more reward. Yay, Pesach, Shabbos, Baruch Hashem, we're so excited and get happy about doing it. Now, the Yetzer Hara actually most of the time doesn't try to stop us from doing the mitzvah, but he tries to stop us from enjoying it. He tries to say, oh, this is a hard one. So just remember about it's Geshmak to be a Yid. When you say, I'm so lucky to be doing this, you get 1,000 times more reward. A lot of simcha, the word bis simcha, and what makes you happy and what makes you sad. You can have two people seemingly in the same exact circumstance and someone is smiling through it and someone's grouching. It's what goes on in your mind. Bisimcha and machshava are the same 5 Hebrew letters, just in a different order. I once heard someone saying we're all looking for the city of happiness, and we realize it's the state of our mind. So yes, the attitude of gratitude, counting our blessings. It's very hard to continue being depressed or sad when you just made a list of so many things you have to be grateful for. And Kisavo, after the whole mitzvah of Bikurim that a man takes is his first fruit, he wraps a red string around it, and then when it's ripe, he brings it all to the Beis HaMikdash, and then he gives it to the Kohen Gadol, and there's a whole long, many psukim of how he talks about everything Hashem did for him, from when he took us out of Mitzrayim, how he saved us, and he brought us to Eretz Yisrael, and we have this fruit, and he's expressing a lot of gratitude when he brings the Bikurim. And then, Parak Chavav Pasuk Aleph, after all of that, it says, V'samachta b'chol hatov, you will be happy with all the good. Asher nasan l'cha Hashem elokecha. You'll be happy with all the good that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you. I once heard that his expressing all this gratitude and going back all the way from Mitzrayim and saying, thank you Hashem, expressing the gratitude gives you joy, makes you happy. Okay, so that's another thing. In Modim Dirabanan, when someone's davening with a minyan, and then the people say Modim on their own while the Chazan is saying the Modim that we said in Shmona Esrei, one of the things that we say at the end, we thank Hashem, Modim Dirabanan, al she'anachnu modim lach. We thank you that we are thanking you. Rashi explains that to mean, we're thanking you, she'nasata b'libeinu lihiyos devukim b'cha umodim lach, that you put into our heart the concept of connecting to you and thank you. We thank you for the concept of being grateful for you in our hearts. That's what Gemara Saita says. No one is born with the natural impulse of gratitude for being alive, because the natural feeling is to take life for granted, because for as long as one could remember, he has always been alive. The feeling of gratitude comes with time, with maturity, and feeling of gratitude is in and of itself a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Thank you, Hashem, for allowing me to thank you. Thank you for giving us the ability to thank you, not just when we almost lost Chas V'Shalom, when somebody was very, very deathly ill and they got better. I'm so happy to be alive, but thank you, Hashem, that I'm alive, even if I didn't have to go through feeling like I'm almost losing it. To celebrate that Hashem chose us as his cherished nation. And this is the time of the year that we work on our relationship, and Hashem is here waiting for us. Hashem is right here close to us. Elul, ani l'dodi, v'dodi li. I am for my beloved, and my beloved is for me. So our mission, every one of us, our mission is to complete yourself with the tools and the potential that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. And in this way, we're growing and becoming more connected. And we're working together with Hashem on this project of making us into a better person as we grow through life. It said the Vilna Gaon on his deathbed, he was crying and he said, I'm leaving this world where for 6 kopecks I could buy tzitzis to wear and earn eternity with it. This is the world where we could just keep on earning. In the next world, we can't earn anymore. Every single stage, situation, circumstance in life are opportunities for chatov ve'echol. And sometimes you find it so humorous. You're getting all ready to do like a real great big holy thing, and then some small thing comes and interrupts you, and you're like, guess what? That's what Hashem wanted you to be busy now. It says chatov ve'echol, grab and eat. Like it's also coming from a Gemara in Eruvin. It says that Shmuel said to Rabbi Yehuda, his beloved student, keep on grabbing, King Scholar. Grab and eat, grab and drink. This is the world. This is the world that's like the wedding feast. This is the world where we can chaparine. But the joy here is only temporary. But we have to take things along that we'll be able to have in the future and eternity. And we all have in our lives situations, we'll call them, or tests that are growth opportunity. Really, all of it's a test. I'm exactly where Hashem wants me to be now. Will I be able to smile? Will I be able to just take a deep breath and calm myself down? Will I actually find humor in this situation that I don't find that is really funny right now? I will connect to Hashem and say, Hashem, I don't know why, but this is where you want me to be right now. Will I be able to judge someone favorably when I really can't come up with any rational reason how what he just did was normal or right? But can I try to think that there must be a reason? And or Hashem, whatever the reason is, Hashem wanted me to have to deal with this now. Will I be able to control myself? Will I be able to bite my tongue? Even if I bite my tongue for 5 minutes and then let it out, you still get rewarded. It says, I'll call rega v'rega she'adam chosev as piv l'shono. For every minute that a person controls his tongue and mouth, he's zocha to a very special light. It doesn't say for every day, for every hour, for every month. It says for every minute. So that means every single minute that we hold ourselves back from saying something, we are growing and we are going to get reward. Will I be able to control myself? If I didn't control myself, will I be able to admit that I made a mistake? Will I be able to say, I'm really sorry without saying, but you did that to me, but you caused it to me? Will I play the blame game? Will I remember a whole time that every single thing is from Mina Shemayim, not just the big things? I heard a story that one of Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zannefeld's grandchildren came into shul one night and he said, Mazel Tov. I just engaged my youngest child, Baruch Hashem, my 10th child. He said the first two, I did b'siyata d'shmaya, and no, the first 2 I did by myself, and the last 8 I did b'siyata d'shmaya. And someone said, what? With Hashem's help, you did the last 8, and the first 2 you did by yourself? He said, actually, I thought I was making shidduchim by the first 2 children when I got them engaged. I was busy. I was doing this. I was doing my shtadlus. And I forgot that it's not really me. And the last 8 I did b'siyata. No, so the first 2 I did b'siyata d'shmaya, and the last 8 Hashem did all by himself. I realized I'm not doing anything. It's all him doing it. Yes, I'm exactly where Hashem wants me to be. Also, will I stop and recognize my inner growth instead of just being so hard on myself? I do this every time. This is typical me. I'm never going to get this right. Everyone else is better than me. No, this is where I am. And I'm actually a bit better than I was before. And will I stop and not be so hard on myself? Will I stop letting perfect be the enemy of good? Can I focus on the positive? That's what being a Yehudi means. That's a hallmark of a Yid, focusing on the positive. Wow, thank you, Hashem, that I'm in a good mood again. That was a hard couple of days. I'm really so grateful. Thank you, Hashem. Hashem, I need your help. I need your help, Hashem. Are we going to be talking to him? It says in Gemara that Rabbi Broka frequently he would frequent the marketplace of a place called Beit Lefet, and he asked Eliyahu Navi to point out, is there anyone here that is a ben olam haba, that are guaranteed a place in the world to come. So he pointed out one person, and then he pointed to two brothers. So Rabbi Broka went to the two brothers and said, what do you do? What's your occupation? So they answered, they are bediche, they are comedians. And they said, when we meet when we meet people that are sad or depressed, we make them laugh. And that's why they're B'nai Olam Haba. That's why they have a guaranteed place in the world to come. Rashi says, what did it mean that they said they make people laugh? Rashi, and the words there say, they were Semechem u'mesamchem. They were happy and they made others happy. And Rabbi Israel Rosenbaum, in the Sefer Zichron Moshe, he explains this Rashi, and he says, what does it mean, Semechem u'mesamchem? They're happy and they make other happy. He says you can only really cheer someone else up if you're happy yourself. And he says, why were they B'nai Olam Haba? Why are they guaranteed a place in the world to come? Because who could be really happy? Who could be really happy with all of life and things that we go through? People that have emunah and are totally connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and believe that whatever, and really internalize it, that whatever situation they're in is exactly where Hashem wants them to be, and then they're happy. So these people that were able to make other happy is because they were happy themselves, and they were truly happy because they were totally connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything's from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We each have our own unique mission. B'chol drachecha da'ehu, it says in Mishlei Gimel Pasuk Vav. In all your ways, acknowledge HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's so many opportunities. So really, basically, it's saying two things. Every single situation that we're in are opportunities to become closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and recognize Hashem in every situation. Have bitachon, have emunah. I'm exactly where Hashem wants me to be now. Simcha really comes, like we said, happiness. You can only be happy and you can only focus on every single thing in life when you realize every single thing is exactly the way Hashem wants it to be. Connect. Giving, like we said before, you could act all calm about something and a little thing could ruin your mood. What happened with all that calmness and emunah and bitachon? Another thing about being positive, it says in Gemara Memches Amud Aleph that a person should be a good guest on this world. That says avoda. What does it mean? What's the difference between a good guest and a bad guest? So let's say you have a guest for Shabbos and they're like, yum, everything is really good. Thank you so much. But they don't think that you made the challah special for them, or you made this fish specially for them, or the soup specially for them. She was anyway making it for her family. I'm like the 10th guest. She has 9 other people around the table. So you just said, thank you very much. That's one type of guest. And what's a good guest? Thank you so much for the challah that you made me. It was delicious. Your fish that you made me. And the guest really, really feels that everything they had at this meal was made specifically for them. That's how we're supposed to feel in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's world. Thank you, Hashem, that the sun is shining for me today. Thank you, Hashem, that's called being a good guest in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's world, by being thankful and grateful for every single detail that Hashem is doing specially only for me. Now, we have to work on a simcha, as we know that the real complete simcha will only be when Mashiach comes, right? A lot of the brachas, on the Sheva brachas is like that. It's one of the reasons why we break a glass by the chuppah to remember the churban. But we just, as Yidden, we are trying to be and continue to be happy, connected, be there for each other, be there. Being happy makes a difference for everyone around you, right? They say if the mother's not happy, then nobody's happy. She influences the whole family. And again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is right here now, during this time of the year, during Elul. Hashem is closer to us, and he's waiting for us to do that little move, to do that little fighting ourselves with the things that we have to work on, and then he promises to help us. We have to reconnect and feel close and be close to him with every single situation that we're in. And when we Hashem, we're just coming to Rosh Hashanah and Aseres Yimei Tshuva, and we say to Hashem, Zachreinu l'chaim, please Hashem, we beg you, remember us for life. Melech hapetz v'chaim, the King who wants life. V'kasveinu b'sefer hachayim, please write us down in the Sefer HaChaim. L'mancha Elokim Chayim. What type of life are we begging you for? The life that we will use for you, the life that you want us to live. Nasa Adam Hashem, we want to be able to work with you on our progress. And it's Geshmak to be a Yid, and we're surrounded by opportunities every minute, and wishing everyone should be zeicha to a happy, healthy, sweet new year, and be able to make the most of every single minute. Have a good night.
Thank you from Luton. Thank you for that. He's like a
wow,
welcome
back. Welcome back. Joanne,
So
just say who
thank
this is.
Thank
This
you.
learning
Good
was
Shabbos.
Joanne, this learning was a refuah shalema. I didn't say
Amen.
that. Okay. Take care. Thank
Amen.
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's not even raining.
Thank